Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gatso. Welcome to the Race First coverage of Round 8 of the 4D RACEWEAR's Saturday IndyCar Open Series Strength of Field race for Season 1 of 2024, coming to you from Texas Motor Speedway. As always, joining me for now expert analysis in the booth, because he finished on the podium this week at Las Vegas and Indy Fixed. He's my IndyCar teammate. Super proud of him. Regular participant in the Indy Fixed Series, coming to us live from Mexico City. Please welcome Antonio Estrada. So, Antonio, slightly different beast of a 1.5 mile oval this one is compared to Las Vegas. Obviously, the difference in turn 1 and 2 between the two tracks, but there's other subtle differences as well. Slightly smaller field than we were looking at for the Tuesday strength of field in the IndyCar Oval Series. But what are some of the differences might we be looking at between these two tracks?
Hey, Gary, and hey, everyone that's watching here live on YouTube. Yeah, very, very happy about that podium finish at Vegas. But yeah, going back to Texas, an entirely different track, although similar because of, the 1.5 length of the track. But like you mentioned, turn 1 basically is a free-for-all. You can go wherever you want. All lanes are viable. And then turn 3 and 4, they're very tight, and you can go flat out typically. The track temperature for this particular race is not that high, so tire management, while it will be a part, it's not going to be like super concerning that you would be shredding your tires all over around. You still need to be careful and make sure that you're staying on top of your tools, making sure that you make those roll bar adjustments, those weight checker adjustments as the run goes on. But with a smaller field, it's going to be very difficult that we see cautions, so you have to be very careful also about your fuel mileage, how long you're going to go, and start creating your strategy right away. Because typically you would pit under caution, but with a smaller field, it's probably not going to happen.
All right. Well, we are about 2 minutes left to play. Matt Taylor, we're watching right now on the provisional pole, the 218 flat. And while we're talking about speeds, we'll always get into the real world records here at Texas. All the IndyCar records you need to know at Texas. Of course, Kart and IndyCar did have official time trials here, even though Kart never had an official race. So the Kart, and it's still a track record to this day, is Kenny Breck in 2001 in the canceled Firestone Firehawk 600, turned in a lap of 233.447. Billy Boat holds the IndyCar IRL track record with a speed of 225.979. Of course, those were on the older configuration, 24 degrees of banking at each end. The all-time IndyCar wins leaders here: Scott Dixon, to no one's surprise, leads with 5. Elio Castroneves with 4. Sam Hornish with 3. Scott Sharp, Scott Goodyear, Will Power, and Joseph Newgarden, each with 2.
Yeah,
actually, I think Joseph Newgarden might have 3 now. He won that last one at last year, so I believe he has 3 now. So he is up tied now with Sam Hornish. But I don't think IndyCar is going to come back here anytime soon.
I hope they do.
I hope they do too.
There were a couple of years, early or actually late 2010s and very early 2020s that the racing was quite lackluster. But the last 2 years, the racing here has been fantastic for the IndyCar. So it's a shame that this time by they weren't able to reach an agreement that they're not going to be racing here this year. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that they come back for next year.
I know one of the great things about this track is that so many drivers got their first career or their only win here. Billy Boat, John Paul Jr., actually, he got a second win here. The late John Paul Jr., Jeff Ward got his only win here. Thomas Scheckter got one of his few wins here. So, having it on the IndyCar schedule would be nice, but definitely a lot of careers were either validated or launched here in the IndyCar world. Well, with that, we are getting ready to go racing as we are done. And as you see at the top of the charts, there is demerit. And we'll get into the opening lineup right now, starting lineup right now.
All right, so starting on pole, we have Christopher Demerit from the I-5G team with a blistering fast lap time, 23.96. He's the only one that actually broke the 24-second barrier. Super fast for the pole man. Joining him on the front row is going to be Matt Hollibell in the number 4 car. In row 2, we can find Hamilton and Cabuese, joined by Julian Altonet. And in row 3, we can find Matt Taylor with Olivia Hayward. Row 4, we can find Ivan Rutko and Connor Harrington. Row 6, we can see Drew White and Kevin Burrell. In row 6, actually that was row 5. Row 6, Noah Rangel and Hayato Matsuda. And then in row 7, without sitting a time, we have Justin Dumas in the number 3 car. So look for him to try and make his way through the field. He has a very high rating, 5,500. And he's joined by Will Weiser there on the number 14 car. So again, a smaller field because we had 27 folks that registered for this race, but IndyCar or iRacing splits it at 26. So we have a limited field, but it's a very, very strong field. Everyone here has above 3,000 I rating. The lower one is Will Weiser with 2,900, which is still pretty high. So very, very good drivers, a very strong field, even though it's a reduced one.
Yeah, and he's starting at the rear of the field there. I mean, with only 14 cars, might as well just keep everything in front of you, right?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see how things go and move from there. It's going to be 125 laps. This is going to go really, really fast.
Yeah, we're expecting first pit stops right around, and we got someone starting from the pits, and I think that's Drew White there. He's the only, and interesting enough, he's the only non-A license in this race, but I know him as an oval ace, so he is definitely in his element here. We will see how he does in this race, but I think we're looking at 45 laps to a stint here. We expect the tires to go long off before then, but you were saying that possibly tires might not be that big of an issue, and we haven't really looked at the conditions yet. Conditions in today's race, here they are, 64 degrees Fahrenheit with 108 degree track temperature.
Yeah, they should be able to make it around 50 laps, maybe a little more if you're saving a little bit of fuel. Again, the tire degradation is not going to be as massive as it is on other tracks, but it's still something to keep an eye out on, especially if you get a longer run on a green flag. So, looking for at least 2 stops. I would say if everything goes like without a hitch, then we would see 2 pit stops. You would split it in 2, being around lap 50-ish, and then around lap 90, and you would be good to go as we're getting ready to go green.
Riding along with Hamilton on his roll bar, seeing his from his point of view, going down to this wide turn 1, down low into the slipstream there of Christopher Demerit. See the car's a little happy in the back, cold tires still coming up the temperature. Now blasting down to turn 3 into that 24 degree of banking. Pretty much bottom line rules here.
And Harrington just made a move there on Olivia Hayward. He got a great run off of 2, and he moves the spot up into P6. He's actually 2 spots up from his starting spot. And Hamilton and Cabuese had a great launch and got by Matt Holliday there.
Yeah, with great launches, Matsuda. We'll get a camera on him there in the Scotty D livery. He is up 4 spots. Weiser up, 3 spots. Weiser up 4 spots. And then Connor Harrington, there he is, in that team private label. He is now up to P4 in no time flat. Matt Taylor is kind of coming right with him. And Aquablasi, challenge for the lead.
And gets the lead. What a bold move on the outside. Got a great run off of it. And I was very impressed with, and still very impressed, just Connor Harrington just went by Matt Hollywood there for P3. He's a man on a mission right now.
Hamilton had that podium finish at the US 500, the return. I helped spot for him there in the closing laps there, and he didn't thank me at all in his interview. Shame on him.
Matt Taylor trying the super top up and goes down, doing a little bit of a diamond line there, trying to get around Julian Alton there for P5.
Julian in the Dutch orange car. Today is an all-Dutch day for him. After this race, I'm going to jump over to another network. That's the FTN network here on YouTube for the VOR IndyCar race coming to us from virtual Zandvoort, which is his home race. And he's celebrating Dutch heritage today with the orange car. And there's Kevin Burrell on the low side there, getting on by Julian as well. Olivia following on through. Matsuda following through. Julian losing a couple spots there, staying in the high line.
Yeah, I think at this point, Julian is just trying to save some tires. There seems that you are able to easily catch up to the car in front right now due to the tire temperatures and how everything in the ambient is right now. So I wouldn't be too worried right now, especially because it's the first stint of the race. So just stay with her, keep on it, and be there at the end when it counts. Will Weiser is now taking a look inside of Olivia Hayward. That backs out. And going back to the front, Connor Harrington there is still trying to make something happen. And I can also see that Chris Americ is kind of laying back a little bit. He's happy to ride around behind a little before the lead.
Hollenball to the lead.
Yeah, again, I think at this point you're just content to be riding around with them, being very close. This also helps with the fuel mileage situation because they're going to be dragging you around and you're not going to be burning as much fuel as you would typically in clean air.
Yep. Lazy down low, going into 3. He will get that pass. If anybody beat you down low in the 3 and 4 here at Texas, it's just you're going you're going to get that position. That's just how it works here. High line does not really come in for these cars in 3 and 4 as we see at other tracks. Now, here's where the high line comes in there. Already 3 different lines there between first, second, and third.
Yeah, and you can go even higher than that. That's the cool part about turn 1 and 2 at Texas. You can ride wherever you want. Wherever you want to put your car, you can do it. But right now, it's not the time to go testing that Kyle Larson line.
Well, definitely IndyCar is back in full force here on iRacing and Race First. Help us keep this positive momentum. If you enjoy Race First coverage on the 4D RACEWEAR Saturday IndyCar Open Series, stop splitting and respect the stream. Please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing first of all. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts. 12 of 125, 13 of 125 now in the books. Everyone's kind of keeping it clean and green. No one really pulling off any full sends quite yet, but we are halfway through, not quite halfway through, actually about a third of the way through a fuel run here. So we'll see when these tires start acting up, but seeing some people start coming up through the standings here a little bit. Harrington up 4 spots, but let's take a look at Matsuda back there in the Scotty D car, and actually racing like Scotty D, up 6 spots, just kind of hanging out, waiting for everything to come back to him.
Yeah, the biggest winner, well, him and Will Weiser, who's also up 6 spots right behind him. Doing a pretty good job in driving, very similar to how Dixon would, and he's now closing in on Matt Taylor there for P6.
Seems like the top 4 are just content to really stay in line. And we're looking at, the top 4 are pretty much power teams within the iRacing IndyCar community. You got IAR up there, I5G, you got the All-American iRacers up there, Private Label up there. I mean, those are the who's who of IndyCar racing here on iRacing.
And then you also have Satellite with Kevin Burrell there.
There it is.
Yeah, the powerhouse teams, and I agree. At this point, you really don't gain anything because you cannot break away, which is what you would typically want to do something, to maybe run and really push for it. But since the cars are going to be very, very close together, there is no reason to be fighting for every single spot in the track. So yeah, I would assume that at least for the first team, they're going to be very happy just running around each other and not really doing anything dangerous.
Riding along with Matt Taylor now down the fourth gear in that sweeper of now 1 and 2. They reduced the banking there, widened it out. Now we're into 3 and 4, which has maintained its current banking and configuration. Now my understanding is, I've been told by a certain little birdie that kind of flies in and talks to us on our Tuesday night broadcast, that the future of Texas Motor Speedway is going to be very much similar to that of the current configuration of Atlanta. And if that's the case, I don't see IndyCar coming back here, and that's really a damn shame.
I hope that's I hope that's not true, but if it's coming from a reputable source, that would be a shame, because yeah, there is no way that IndyCars could race at a configuration that is similar to current Atlanta. It's way too banked, so the speeds are going to be way too high, and the cars wouldn't be able to handle it, and the drivers wouldn't be able to handle it. So hopefully not, and yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is the actual track that really they discovered that there is a track where you can go too fast, and this is where they discovered in 2001 in the kart series, where drivers were getting vertigo, and then there was the incidents. The drivers were crashing between 1 and 2, and the car wouldn't stop until it got down to 3 and 4. I mean, they were traveling at that incredible speeds, only to really put their bodies at extreme danger with the vertigo and the stresses put on them with the G-forces and whatnot. So, in hindsight, I think they made the right decision by canceling that race. But many people point to that race as kind of the beginning of the end of the heydays of the Champ Car, or before the Champ Car World Series, but more of the kart FedEx Champ Car Series. So. IndyCar,
sure.
Yeah, but IRL ran here with a completely different package and did pretty well. Had some very entertaining races here. Here we see Burrell underneath his, well, I guess countrymen now. They're both in Club Japan. Burrell located in Japan there. Gets the position on Matsuda.
Yeah, I vividly remember that weekend. I was gearing up to watch the race. Everything was so fun. I loved racing. I've always loved racing. And I think one of the biggest miscues there was like, hey, you kind of knew that this was going to happen, and then you still waited until race day to actually cancel it. That didn't really bode well with anybody, because it's fine. I mean, if there is a security or safety concern, by all means, but you need way before in advance. As Matsuda gets Burrell back there on the tie side, very nice move, and gets a good run on Matt Taylor as well. Thought he was gonna go for it entering 3, but backed out. That was cool.
Yeah, we were both watching there like, whoa! he launched out a rocket there on the top side. So move Matsuda up to 6th. He's up 6 spots. Still your biggest gainer. Dumas up 5. Weiser up 5. Almost into the wall that time.
But Matsuda just went by Matt Taylor doing that same move, going all the way to the top side on 1 and 2, and getting the pass done on the backstretch.
Put him up into the top 5. Seems to be about the only one making moves at the moment. I'm wondering if the top 4 are just kind of settling in and trying to do some fuel mileage here. But look at him up on the top side, just making a big run there. And now by the time he gets down to turn 3, he's on the back end of Connor Harrington, and probably when he gets back to 1 and 2, he'll try that run on the high side again and maybe get a run on Connor Harrington. So we'll pay attention to this battle. This is a battle coming up for 4th between Harrington, private label Team Hype, and the independent driver, Heio Matsuda there.
There we go. Great run. And he backed out of it. He doesn't want to be on the inside because he wants to have that outside line on 1 and 2. Now, it shouldn't matter as much because we're not seeing a lot of tire fall off, but taking that high line or abusing that high line, the tippity top of the high line, that can damage the tires. And there he goes, all the way to the top. Yeah, but backs out again. He doesn't want to be on the inside.
Now, the last thing he wants is a car in front of him to give him a wash-up because there's not much room to that wall. Let's ride along with Matsuda here. Let's get an interesting look. Here he goes up into turn 1. Put on the oxygen mask way up on the banking. Getting a good run off the top. Shifting to 6th gear in draft now of Connor Harrington. Backs out of it, going into 3 and 4. Very patiently looking for your opportunities. Still too early, only 30 now, going 31 of 125 laps, a long way to go.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, most of the field is taking this race as if it was like a pack race at Daytona or Talladega, what you would see on a NASCAR plate track, where everyone is just riding around. Like there's no real use in abusing your stuff early on, because you're not going to be able to break away. You're not going to be able to make a gap. So better to ride around and make sure that you're there when it counts. But again, I'm a little worried that TPD top line that Matsuda is taking might be something that could potentially damage the tires. It really depends also on the setup that he's running. If he doesn't damage it, if he has gone way up on his tools, maybe ensuring the rear anti-roll bar is a little higher so that it offsets the wear on the right front, which is typically the one that would go out first. If his setup is good for that, as he goes now to the inside of Hollywood there.
You're going to get the position. Not quite clear.
Oh, very close.
Had to cause Hollenball to roll out of it a little bit, and that's going to cost Hollenball 2 positions. I'm not sure how happy Hollenball is about that move, but I don't think Matsuda did anything malicious there. I think they just kind of ran out of room. So talk about it with me. I mean, you've raced here a number of times. Talk about the funnel coming off of corner 4.
Yeah, it looks like you have a very, very wide entry on turn 3, and then once you are out of turn 4, it shrinks. It's smaller, so everything gets a little bit tighter, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can wash up and hit somebody else. You really have to be careful of that. But yeah, some of the first times that you drive around here, it's very odd to see that diminish. And also, again, setup dependent, but that transition from the banking, exiting turn 4 onto the front stretch, or the dogleg really, that can also upset the car quite a bit. And if your setup is a little bit on the loose side, it could snap out and just wreck once you're off of
or you got too much weight jacker right there at the exit of 4. It's like a little bubble of air kind of hits your car that right rear and sends you all around. Yeah, you're right. It runs out of room there really, really quick, and I think that's kind of what happened there. But move Matsuda up to 4th. Now he's working on Connor Harrington, and Demerit is a P2. Akabuezi still your leader. Pretty much been controlling it since the outset. They've patiently been racing. Not a lot of heavy racing up the front. I think everyone's trying to hit a number right now. But 14 cars in this field. So let's take a tour through the field. There is Akabuezi, your leader. There's Christopher Demerit in 2nd spot there. Connor Harrington up 5 spots to 3rd. Matsuda, we've been talking about him all race long with Kevin Burrell now on his 6th. This is the battle for 4th. Burrell in 5th. Hollenball, who was up in the top 4, had a moment just a little bit ago, kind of recovered, now in 6th. Right behind him, Matt Taylor, who made a run to the top of the order early in the run. Now he's just kind of settling in 7th. Julian Altena started up front, fell back, kind of in a roll and bit of a routine now in 8th, as they're awaiting now first pit stops to come up here in the next 10-ish laps or so. Will Weiser from the rear of the field up to 9th. Dumas, there he is in 10th. Rangel, there he is in 11th. Ivan Rudko, love the name right there. He is in 12th in another kind of Ganassi-looking livery. I believe that's another Scotty D. Yeah, another Scotty D there. So we got 2 Scotty D's out here. Careful. Olivia Haywood, a little bit of a swerve there on the backstretch. I'm not sure what's going on, but she is just hanging out there in 13th, waiting for the first round of pit stops. And Drew White, who did start from pit road, he is about 6 seconds behind Haywood. Just got to make it laps.
Yeah, something's off with Olivia Hayward. Last time by, she did a 25:40, which is a full second and a tiny bit more than what our leaders are running. The car feels or looks a little weird on entry of one. Seems like she's battling maybe a tight race car on entry and a loose race car on exit. So perhaps she didn't get a lot of time to manage her tools, or maybe her stuff is burned up and looking now to get to that green flag pit stop, because otherwise it's going to be race over. Our top 9 are still very close to each other, and then there is like a huge gap there for P10, Dustin Mel, and then Hayward just dropping and dropping. And also, our leaders are kind of closing in on Drew White. I mean, Drew right now is entering 4, exiting 4.
Yeah, they're about 7.9 seconds behind Drew White. So Drew's now wanting that caution.
He sure is. So there we go. First taker, Matt Hollibo, lap 45. Get tied early, but I think he should be able to make it on 2 more, on another one. Sorry, because then he would pit on 90, yeah, and he would be good to go. Drew White also in the pit lane, but everyone else staying out for now. As also Julian Alton has started to make a little bit of a move. Goodbye, Will Weiser, trying to make a move on Matt Taylor there. Yeah, looks like Matt Holliwell stars were a little
warm. Wow, Matt was way up in the gray stuff coming off of 1 and 2 there. Like I think he's adjusted the car just to get it to turn to go up there, but down on the, well, about a half a car off the bottom on the white line there, Taylor. But yeah, you're right, Julian seems to be running him down at the moment.
Yeah, but both are trying to go to the outside. That takes away the
Julian.
8. Julian gets super tight. And Will Weiser is going to try and capitalize. Not quite there yet. Yeah, and that's a great defense from Matt Taylor. So if you know that they're trying to make a move, you can kind of start mirror driving and taking away the line that they're being running. So you know when they're getting closer, you start looking, okay, where are they running? As Julian now drops to the inside, that's a very smart move. Go where the other car is not. Rangel now in the pits.
Yeah, take a look at Noah Rangel here.
Acabuesa pitting in now. So around lap 50 for most of them. I can imagine that the Merritt is not going to want to stay out too long. But what do I know? They're all going by.
Well, I mean, they were saving pretty much behind Hamilton the entire time, so I would imagine they at least got a couple laps out of that. Whoa! Take a look there. Burrell kind of ran up on Matsuda's left rear a little bit and had to make some evasive maneuvers, but gets the position. Move Burrell, the general, up to P3.
Yeah, and Julian Alton was able to make that move on Matt Taylor, that battle that we were watching prior. So a lot of action is brewing in these laps.
Late run action.
Yeah, I think at this point what we're seeing is there are comers and goers, folks that were able to manage their charts a little bit better. As Hayato Matsuda going into the pits, he didn't let anybody know. So that was a little scary for Alton, who was just behind him. But both Masato and Weiser are in the pace as well as Olivia Hayward.
And Weiser in a Chip Ganassi livery there as well. Be the one. Watch him getting full service there. 4 tires and fuel. No tire limits here in the Open Series. You can hit pit road as many times as you want. Get a set of 4 freshies. All you want. No tires. No tire limit. And like the Fixed Series, or the now called the IndyCar Oval Series, there's a tire limit there. Watching our leader, Christopher Demerit, now extending his run to 55 laps on this current stint.
Ultimate through the pits. And Kevin Burrell is going to be pinning in this time, right? I'm wondering if Demerit... No, yeah, there is no way that you can make it on one stop.
No, out of here.
Also pitted. But for a second, I was like, man, are they trying to stretch it to 62, 63 laps? And then you can make it. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody pull that off in a 1.5. So now it's going to be interesting to see where they merge, especially Demerit.
Here comes Connor Harrington on pit road. So now we go back up to what was Hamlin and Akabwezi. We'll see here. Here comes Akabwezi. He is going to pick back up the lead and then some.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, and so guess what, guys? The undercut is in business today. So I think a lot of people learned something of that. If they haven't done so already in the races leading up to this race during the week, the undercut is powerful. Akabwezi now is your leader, or going to be your leader, once the pit cycle is done. There's Matt Taylor taking off. Connor Harrington on pit road, coming off of pit road. So Akabwezi, your leader now by 2.4, 2.7, 3 seconds. 3 seconds plus, just on that, on his pit stop alone.
Yeah, and I was also looking at the pit lap time. It was a tad faster for Akabwezi, just over a second faster. But still, they have a separation of 3.5 seconds, 3.7 actually. But yeah, so the undercut works. On the other hand, now Demerit is going to have a shorter feel of the tank on the next pit stop, so it could potentially even out. It also depends on how worn the tires were.
Let's take a look at your purple lap. That's Justin Dumas with a 24.1. We'll show you the best lap here in miles per hour. See Dumas there. That translates to a 2:17.7. Most everyone, Weiser's in the 2:17 range. Most everyone in the 2:15. So it's probably a little draft dated, but hey, that's how Texas operates. So let's take a look at the pit stop situation. So Hamilton was in pit lane for 33.4 seconds, but in the box for 9.6. Now Harrington, he did a blistering job in the box, or in pit lane, 31.7 seconds, in the box 7.8. So he was quicker on both accounts than Hamilton, but because he had less track position, he was only able to make up a couple spots and not really get into Akabwezi's territory, so to speak. Christopher Demerit, 33.6 on the pit road, 9.3 in the box. Hollenbaugh, 32.4 on pit road, 8 in the box. Your fastest pit stop in that round was 7.8 by Connor Harrington. Wondering if he just added just enough fuel to get him to the bitter end here. So we shall see. He might be the lightest car on the racetrack at the moment. The fastest on pit road in general was also Harrington by far, a 31.7. Yep.
Yeah, and something interesting happened there. Harrington went by Demerit there for P2. And again, I'm not sure that Demerit is necessarily unhappy about that. He's actually happy that he's going to get, again, help from the drive. He doesn't have to burn as much fuel as he needs to. I can hear him lifting whenever he gets a little bit closer to Harrington there. So, yeah, interesting development there. Although, I would imagine that maybe they would want to start swapping at some point to get closer to Akabwezi. But right now they're kind of there we go. Yep, that makes sense because they were just wasting time at this point. So I can't imagine that they're going to try with a clean track in front of
they got to straight away.
Yeah, they can potentially start doing this. But I think Akaboise also has some help there. Justin Dumas, I'm not sure if Dumas is not going to be doing that. Thought he was going to aid in swapping there. So, yeah, Akaboise is on his own now. He doesn't have any car in front until he catches Olivia Hayward there, who is a couple corners away. But then Harrington and DeMerit, they're going to be able to swap the lead as they're doing right now. Harrington back up front. And here comes DeMerit. Up. No, they didn't get organized.
So this is the leapfrog attempt that they're doing right here. They will try to cut into Hamilton, which they have. Hamilton was a 4-second lead. Now he's down to 3.8 seconds. Let's give a shout out to Julian. He's worked his way up to P4, racing there with Matt Hollenbaugh on the low side. Whole host of cars from 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th. Here comes Kevin Burrell, all right in this pack. Julian looking down low now on Hollenbaugh, getting the position. Matsuda way up high again with Will Weiser underneath him. Everyone back straight at it on the backstretch there. We're looking at Akaboise now. 3.8 seconds is stabilized at the moment.
Yeah, and Hollenbaugh and Altena, they're doing what I was thinking that Harrington and DeMerit would do. They're stopping the lead. Or at least the last time by. Let's see if Altena gets a good run here. He does. But decides not to go for it. It's tough. The space, like you said, it closes up real quick. Matsuda had a great run there. He lifted because he had absolutely nowhere to go. Now going to the top, which he likes a lot.
That is an angry pack of bees right there. That whole battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Now Will Weiser going back to 8th. Where's Matt Taylor? He's just out of reach of this group. He might want to caution here to try to close back up. Will Weiser, though, in that I think Alex Pillow drove that livery a couple of times last season in the NTT IndyCar Series. Good-looking car. I think before that, that was what TK drove at the Indy 500. Back up front. 4 seconds. Akaboise's been able to extend now, so the swapping of positions between Harrington and DeMerit doesn't seem to be really cutting into that lead at this point, not very effectively. Now we want to see Harrington. Now what really might help Harrington and DeMerit is if they can catch the draft envelope of Dumas, who is racing right there a lap down behind Hamilton. If they can catch his draft, and they're about a second and a half from his envelope, they can pull. He can pull him right. Those two right into this battle.
Yeah, I think it's just saw DeMerit go by Harrington there. He got a little tight, so that scraped up some of the speed that they gained from swapping that lead. So unfortunately, in that particular occasion, it didn't work. But I still think that would be kind of the strategy: swap the lead, cut into that lead. There goes DeMerit again. He gets a much better exit this time by. But Akaboise is still extending the lead, so it's gonna have to come to pit road strategy or maybe a caution. Otherwise, it's gonna be very tough. I don't really see a way that they can get closer to him. And everybody is in the same pit strategy. Since we haven't had any cautions, there aren't very many options that you can take. I mean, the only difference is that Akaboise went into the pits a little earlier, 6 laps earlier than Merritt, 7 laps earlier than Harrington. But other than that, they're gonna have to pit around lap 90-ish, perhaps 95 or maybe 100 even for Merritt and Harrington. But so they're gonna have a shorter fuel time. They won't need as much fuel to make it to the end, but I don't think that's going to offset the difference in track as it's growing. Right now it's up to 4.8 seconds. When the stint started, or when they got out of the pit, they were around 3.7 seconds behind Akaboise. Well, make that a second further.
4.5 there you see on the tree to the left. Harrington and Demerit there, 4.5 up to behind Akawazy. And they have a bit of a 5-second gap back to that this buzzsaw Angry Bees pack that I'm calling it for fourth here between Hollenbaugh, Burrell, Altena, Matsuda, and Will Weiser. And just out of reach of this group is Taylor. Actually, he's within reach. He's within 1.1 seconds. The draft envelope's about 1.5, so he might work his way into that fight there.
Yeah, he's closing in. But yeah, this group, what a battle. And for a second, Matsuda there blinks out. And that's one of the worst feelings you can get when driving around these cars. Because you don't know when they or where they will rematerialize.
Right. It's like the transporter in Star Trek. We're
Yeah. So yeah, a very scary situation there for Will Weiser, who's right behind Matsuda. Everyone has there's some alternate. Hollenbach got a little tight there, exiting 2, and Julian had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think Julian just kind of followed him up, and then all of a sudden he's like, and had to really roll out of it, and that's gonna. I don't know if there was a contact.
Yeah, there seems to be contact. I'm looking back at the replay.
There might be a smudge there on the nose, and he seems to be off the pace now.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, there was definitely contact. Just looking at the replay.
No limit.
All right, Matt Taylor on pit road. Yeah, this could be. What do you think? A scheduled stop here?
I'm not sure.
It's gotta be.
You could potentially make it by saving a lot of fuel. I'm worried that the tire will not last that long. And yeah, you know what happened there is just aero wash. I mean, these guys were all running together very close to each other, and they were tipping the top of the high line. And with a little bit of having a car in front of you, there is nowhere you can go, and the car gets tight and will not turn, no matter how much you turn the wheel. And yeah, a little bit of a touch of the wall there by Hollenbaugh, and that creates a chain reaction that left Alton there.
Redco on pit road too. So I think we might have some strategies playing out a little bit further back in the field. Nothing to lose here, and I think maybe some people. I think Ivan might have rolled through his spot a little bit. Nope, he hit the marks. He's on it. I think maybe some people noted how powerful the under was here, the undercut. And maybe stopping early to try to take advantage of that. So we think now that Matt Taylor is done, although he is back down now a lap. So the last thing Taylor wants is a caution. That's going to catch him down a lap. He might get the waiver route as a result. We'll see. We don't want to wish any ill will on him, but there is the leader right behind him. Now, Akawazy might be liking this because that's cutting the air for Hamilton there to maybe get a slightly longer fuel mileage. But I don't think Hamilton's strategy, his first stint, was all about mileage. I think it was definitely getting in there, short filling, getting out, and getting hot laps on new set of tires without a lot of traffic around.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like that was the plan. And yeah, for now, this is actually super helpful because Taylor is now on fresh tires with a clean air in front of him, and that's going to be pulling Akawazy along. As I also saw that Julian Altena went into the pits. He's now out. Doesn't seem like he had a lot of damage. Maybe they needed to change the wing because he's not like that far off on track.
Yeah, I can notice that his wing before had a smudge on the nose that's no longer there, so it looks like he did get a new wing out of that. Was on pit road for 13.5 seconds, so that getting a new wing's about 5 to 6 seconds.
Yeah, it totally adds up.
Yep.
But yeah, now that difference or that gap between Akawazy and the Merd is up to 5.7. And Akawazy just turned a 24.5 with the aid of Matt Taylor in front of him. And Demerit and Harrington just did 24.7. So that's 2 tenths. 2 tenths in an oval track is an eternity.
Well, let's take a look at last lap speeds. Here come Demerit and Harrington. So Ackleblazy 213.7, Demerit 213.1, and a Harrington a 213.4. So he's 0.3 faster in the best situation, give or take.
Yeah, putting on a clinic here. Because again, without a caution, I really don't see any feasible way that they can catch up.
Well, we are at a blistering pace. If you're just joining us, welcome back, everybody. Oh, I think Connor Harrington looked like he was getting up into the wall, but I think he was getting over to allow, Demerit getting up into the wall to allow Harrington on by. But if you're just joining us, this is round 8 of 40 RACEWEAR Saturday IndyCar Open Series Top Split, coming to you from Texas, where Hamilton Ackleblazy has pretty much been your leader from the get-go. He had a great start. We are lap 91 of 125. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already, and if you're feeling so generous on this maybe possible payday weekend of yours, a little donation to your commentary team always helps as well. We're doing this stuff for free. It's not easy, and but we appreciate bringing this live action to you every single week. Next week, Open Series moves to the, I guess we would call it the classic Detroit course on Belle Isle.
Yeah, and I was expecting that to not be a good race, the new Detroit one, and I was pleasantly surprised. So, but yeah, still Belle Isle is the better Detroit track.
So we got Matt Hollenball, who just stopped at lap 90, so he's got fresh tires, and he is being stalked now by Harrington and Demerit with older tires, and in the picture is Olivia Hayward. So Hollenball is wanting to get some laps down, and right now, even with the worn tires, and again, I don't know if maybe Hollenball is sporting some damage from the incident with Julian a little bit while on his back tray there, but Harrington running him down and making him race for it.
Yeah, I think this is actually helping the pair of Harrington and Demerit. They were able to close in a little bit, 3/10 closer to Ackleblazy than a couple of laps before. But once they make it by Hollywood there, I'm not sure they're going to be able to make a lot of that. So I think Harrington is spinning now. I imagine that the Demerit will stay out. Yep, Harrington is pitting.
Yeah, he is pitting. We will watch Harrington on pit road. So slow down to your stall here. It's one thing hoping that iRacing will do someday is allow for variable pit road speeds, so IndyCar races could have more realistic pit road speeds instead of going 200 miles per hour in a NASCAR world. But that's just me.
And at a snail's pace, it's horrible.
Ackleblazy
on pit road.
Yeah, was just about to mention that. So let's see what Demerit tries to do. I mean, we saw that the undercut worked for Ackleblazy. Right now, Demerit inherits the lead right back. And I can imagine that. Okay, there he is.
Here comes Demerit.
Yeah, I was about to say that I imagined that he was not going to try and go as long as he did last time by because he lost so much time. So, closing it now. Burrell is now the leader.
Yep,
stays
Burrell,
out.
The general, doing a long march this time. He is your leader. Burrell pitted last on lap 56, currently 42 laps into his current stint.
Matsuda also in and out with no problems.
And Will Weiser also out there, 46 laps into his current stint, last pitted on lap 53. So he is going on the long game here. Currently in P2 until this current stint of pit cycle is complete, and then he will shake down again. Ooh, almost got down on the apron there. As he's trying to slow down, almost got on the apron too soon than he wanted to. Gets the car down to the limit there at the yellow cones. Now he's cruising in the passing lane here, and then when he gets closer to his spot, he will cut in and hit his stall just like this.
Man, the battle rages on between Demerit and Harrington. They were able to merge pretty close together. Harrington was very, very close to Demerit there. Took his air off of 3 as now Demerit is trying to get that spot back. They're quite far away from Akabuese. I don't think that they're going to be able to catch him unless there's a caution, as Birel is still stretching his lead until he has to pit. Same with Dumas and Hayward.
Olivia on pit road here, so put her onto her last stop. Matsuda and Will Weiser now racing back here for 8th and 9th. Matt Taylor's in the battle now. He's up to 6th. Connor Harrington 5th. Side by side there. I think that's with Noah Rangel. Yeah, Noah Rangel.
Birel to the pits.
Birel to pit road. Last scheduled stop for the Satellite Racing driver. And Akabuese back to the lead. Oh, Julian in the wall. He kissed the wall. I didn't want to see that. Looks like
just saw that replay.
Yeah, he recovered a little bit there, but kind of came up and grabbed him a little bit. There is a imaginary magnet in that wall that likes to reach out and grab you when you least expect it.
It sure does. I mean, the good thing is that he hit it like square, and that typically is a way to make the less amount of damage. Because if you hit it with one of the tires, it can easily break one of the tie rods, and then that's it. You're gonna have problems with the suspension, and it's gonna be broken. So lucky for him, I don't think he has lost any speed. He's still going.
Well, a little bit further back, there's Justin Dumas, who was high as P2 there for a little while. He's in that GoDaddy throwback. He has the purple lap for the day. He is also 49 laps under his current stint. He's going really long. He last stopped on lap 56. So he is due in about any time now, but he worked his way up to P2 by virtue of just kind of staying out longer than everybody else.
Right in front of him, there's a wreck. Yep. And there's a yellow.
There's a yellow. So who wrecked?
It looks like it was Noah Rangel.
Yep. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at that. And that's going to bring the field all together. And maybe you could talk us through what happened here. And I think I know what happened, but you could talk to us about it.
Man, that's quite unfortunate, especially for Akabuese. But what happened is he got loose. He got in the wake of the car in front of him. There was a little bit of a crossover. There are some, used tires, and it just snapped loose. I think he also had a little bit of a higher weight jacker there, which allows the car to rotate a little bit more. Yeah. But that can also be it's very sensitive to the cars that are running in front of you. If the air changes directions a little bit, especially outside of the corner when you're merging into the backstretch, the car will be a little bit weird on exit, and that just meant that it was going to go for a ride.
That wreck is more common than you think. That is more common than you think. But now again, everyone's stopping. I believe everyone is stopped. Yeah, Burrell is staying out. There's going to be a number of cars in front of Burrell that are going to get the wave around. Akabuese coming off pit road. He is going to be P2. Demerit P3. Connor Harrington P4. And everyone's off pit road already. And Justin Dumas, I was just talking about him in that GoDaddy car, by virtue of staying out now, has track position stopped with everyone. P5, Matt Taylor P6, Matsuda is P7, Will Weiser P8, Hollenball now 9th. Altina, maybe nursing a bit of a damaged car, is going to get the wave around, I think, with Hollenball. So Hollenball, Altina, Rudko Yeah, and Hayward will not. Hayward is stuck behind Kevin Burrell, who is your leader, so she will not get the wave around. Unfortunate for her, and unfortunate really for Hamilton, because Hamilton's going to have to race her to get around to then attack Burrell. So somehow the general has marched himself right up to the lead of the pack and is now your leader. Okay, Olivia's going to come off now and not be an issue on the restart, which I didn't think she would anyways. She's a great racer. So they're just kind of pulling off to get out of everyone's way. But that's still going to give the wave around here when we go 1 to green to Hollandball, Tenna, Redco. So the pace car then will pick up the actual leader of the race, which is Kevin Burrell. 109. Now I think we just completed 109 of 125 in the books. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate everyone that's hanging on here at the 1 o'clock Indy. It's the IndyCar Open Series. So open setups here. And their Saturday strength of field race from Texas Motor Speedway. And despite being a, kind of a 14-car field here, it's not been really a bad race. It's been it hasn't been a pack race that we expected, an excitement like that. But, Tony, it's been more of a strategic race.
For sure it has been. And, it changes everything now. Good on Kevin Burrell on getting that longer fuel mileage. I was actually looking at Justin Dumas, and that's why I was able to catch Rangel Racking, because he was right in front of him. And I was about to say that, hey, at this point, particularly speaking about Dumas, and that also applies to Kevin Burrell, just go as long as you possibly can, because you never know what's going to happen with the other cars on track. There can potentially be a caution, and then you get free track position, which is exactly what happened to both Burrell and Dumas. And now we're going to have, 15-ish, 14 lap shootout. I cannot count.
Yeah.
Around that time.
Coming up to lap 110 here as we're crossing the line, so I believe we'll have 15.
15
and here's
laps.
the wave around for those those cars around the that were in front of the leader. So if you're not familiar, that is an IndyCar rule. Used to be back in the day where the leaders pitted and whoever stayed out got picked up behind the pace car. If you were lap down or whatever, you could bring the field back to green, and probably wasn't the safest way to do things. And so they decided to do the wave around rule, which is kind of a modified lucky dog. Not so much. It's not gimmick named, but it's just simply a wave around, putting those cars at the end of the lead lap, giving the control of the restart of the race to the leader, which is rightfully earned by the leader, so they could do that. So we are going to be brought back to racing speed here by Kevin Burrell. He controls the field as soon as the pace car comes off. Notice the lights are off on the pace car. That means it will be coming to pit road this time by. Burrell assuming the position up on the wall, so make sure no one passes on the outside. That's why you see the Indy cars do that here on iRacing. There is that rule, but that you could pass on the outside before the start-finish line. This kind of defends against that. Again, another NASCAR rule I don't like. Normally in real IndyCar racing, the pace car would be off now, and he would be coming up to full speed about this point. But again, limitations of the sim. Here we go, pace car off. We're riding along with Kevin Burrell, your leader. And he's underway. We are green at lap 111.
Yeah, and I can imagine that this is going to immediately turn into a dogfight. And something that's, very fun is we have the top four are from, those powerhouse teams that we were mentioning. Satellite Racing, Indy Alliance Racing. There goes Akaboise under Burrell. Team I5G, here comes the Murray there. And private label Team Hype with Connor Harrington. They are all both trying to make a move Burrell there. That's what new tires get you. They all went by him easily. Burrell gets a good run off of there. Looking to make a move on Harrington there. As the Merritt is now working the high line there a little bit on Akaboise.
There's only 5 laps difference in the tires between Burrell and everyone around them. Now we're going to go 3 wide to the 1, boys.
They kind of spread out. They fan out, entering turn 1. And, this is exactly what Akaboise didn't want to see. He had this race in bag.
Yeah, he did.
And now he really has to fight both the Merritt, Harrington, and Burrell, who's still not backing out of it. Gets a good run there.
I swear, Harrington, we're looking at it from the Race First 1 airship here, and Harrington looked like off of corner 4 had a jet engine attached to his car. He was so fast coming off of 4 and catching that group. I thought he was going to shoot through the middle, but I think there's a little bit left in the Harrington car. I think he's going to make a run. Look at here he comes again. Here he comes again, just like I was saying. He's going to go 3 wide through the tri-oval area. Oh, the
and Burrell was going a little bit higher. Just trying to get cleaner. Cleaner is king.
Now we're going to go 3 wide.
It was just a second in front of Harrington making a very aggressive move to the inside.
10 to go.
They were thinking about making it 4 wide. There just wasn't enough room.
Well, you make it's 10 to go, excuse me. You make it 4 wide in the 1 and 2. You're not going to do 4 wide down the 3 and 4. We've seen that in real IndyCar racing before. That's just
Taylor.
That's it. Taylor out of nowhere. You're right. Let's take a look there. Here he comes.
Going all the way to the top. He's going to diamond the line a little bit. He's going to get a good run off of corner. Matsuda, who was kind of Mr. Excitement of this race back in the first stint, he's also looking here. The Taylor trying to go around. He dips his tires in the grass trying to make a move.
That's from the very first IndyCar race here. I believe that was done by Billy Boat did that when he was trying to run down in a battle there. He dipped his tires off into the grass, I believe. Also seen that happen before at Charlotte with IndyCars. I think Buddy Lazier that. Not a good thing to do. Not something you want to do on a regular basis. 4 wide, 4 different lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4, going through 1 and 2 right there. So I think Acquabuezi's now gone to the defensive IRL line. When I say IRL, I don't mean in real life. I mean the old Indy Racing League line, which is right down there on the bottom of the racetrack, right down there on the white line, the shortest way around. Make the car on the outside, take the longer way around, and he is defending that IRL line right now. That might be his best chance. 6 laps to go. We're riding along with them, and here he is right down there on that white line.
Yeah, hogging the white line. If he's able to stay and hog that white line, he should be able to get away with a victory because on the merits end, he needs to get a run from somewhere. And right now he doesn't have any room to do that. He cannot let Harrington by because then he's not going to be able to. Will Weiser up to 24. And now Burrell trying to come back as well.
All of the actors in this play are making their last stage appearance at the front, trying to make a grand finale out of Weiser clipping the quad oval area. Harrington makes it by the merit there.
But, I mean, again, at this point, the merit needed to try something a little different. Otherwise, he was going to be stuck on the outside and not be able to do anything. He's getting a good run here, entering 3, exiting 4. Matt Taylor looking into the outside of the merit. There's no room. Again, they're trying to make it 4 wide, but you just cannot make it.
Taylor up high. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Gets the run down the backstretch.
Taylor gets the pass done on the merit there.
I think if his tires can hold together and they're fresh enough, they're only 15 laps old, and that's the same as everyone else around them. If he can continue to make that run up high, he could get another position here. Now I wonder if Harrington has a spotter that can tell him, "Hey man, Taylor's making moves up high. Maybe go up there and flash him some dirty air." Oh, Taylor got in front of Demerit. Oh.
And Harrington trying desperately to find a spot where he can put his car into, and white flag.
Final lap. Acquabuezi down low. 4 different cars, 4 different lines through turns 1 and 2. Matsuda up high, getting a shot down the backstretch. Going to take low on Demerit. Harrington nowhere to go but high right now. Going to take a run at the high side. Coming to the line. It is a little bit of a nudge. Acquabuezi the winner. And Matt Taylor and Harrington made contact, but I believe they finished 2nd and 3rd there. And Akabwezi, your winner by 0.48.
Oh man, what a finish! And what a run from Matsuda. He was able to make his way from P6 to P4 in that final lap. Got a great run. But Akabwezi, man, he was able to hold that inside line and make it work. What a great victory!
Let's take a look at the final standings here. As Akabwezi, great victory. He really did dominate today. He had to earn it there at the end, but he really did dominate today. Connor Harrington, P2. Matt Taylor coming up there at the very end at P3. Matsuda, I told you, he was on that high side through 1 and 2. Got a great run, got underneath the Merritt, got P4 to Merritt, down the P5 in the last sprint here. Burrell held the track position. I think that's really what saved his day here. P6, Will Weiser, P7 got shuffled to the back there. Justin Dumas, we really talked about him only in the last quarter of the so of this race. Stays out really the longest of everybody and then capitalizes with an opportune yellow. He finishes 8th, Hollenball 9th, Ivan Rudko 10th, Julian survives to 11th. Haywood, she goes to 12th, Drew White 13th, and Noah Rangel 14th. And that is your 14-car field. And despite being a small field, we had a pretty good strength of field number here. We had about a 4K strength of field. A lot of people don't realize that. 14 cars. Very entertaining race. Pack race, sprint race there at the end, but a highly strategical race up to that point.
Yeah, for sure, highly strategic, and unfortunate for Demerit, who was really looking for a P2 or P3. He was looking for a podium finish until that caution that actually gave him the chance to go for the win, but also eventually or ultimately ended with him just outside of that podium with top 5. But what a good race. That last part, it was entirely unpredictable. Anybody could have potentially snatched away the win. Well, maybe not, because Akabwezi really didn't look in danger, although he was very, very close to everybody there with that caution. But he seemed calm and collected. What a domination from him.
I don't see anybody jumping into the interview room yet. We do have Matt Hollenball in there. I think he's been in there already, so I'm just kind of in chat with people that bumped in and out. But we might bring him up, ask about his race, and in the meantime, see if anyone else from the top 3, Akabwezi, Harrington, or Taylor, pop in. Or they might just be getting ready for another race to follow. So we'll see. We don't know what they have for time. We'll bring up Matt Hollenball, see if he's paying attention here. Hey, Matt, we got you. You're the only one waiting for an interview, so no one else has popped in. We thought we'd bring you in, but you're muted. A top 10 finish for you today. Tell us about your race.
Well, first of all, I was absolutely not expecting to start P2 there. The setup that I used for qualifying, that one was built in March of 2023 for the Indy Elite Series, and the only thing I changed between then and now was the fuel load. Just to try, that was it. That was literally the only thing I changed. I even forgot what kind of weight jacker I should be using on. Anyways, unexpectedly good qualifying position. Couldn't really capitalize on the clean air. I've always said here that I know how to overtake at Texas. I do not know how to save tires, especially in 1 and 2. Because like turns 1 and 2, the conventional wisdom is typically like running high. Yeah, that does burn up your tires a bit, but at the same time, it also it's usually clean air.
Yeah.
I'm not good at finding that balance here. On the short run, I'm fine. Later in the race, Kevin Barrell and myself and Julian Altana, we were all battling, and I looked high. Kevin defended high, gave me dirty air. He slid up a little bit, actually. He apologized to me over chat. We're all good, but dirty air. That's just the rules of engagement here. I hit the wall, had damage. Was really, really, really shocked that I didn't have any rear wing damage. I pit expecting a 15-second hold, and I never got it. But I did still have, unrepairable damage, which isn't preferable either. And
no, it's not.
Yeah, it could have gone better. I am pretty. You're all right though. I should be celebrating a P10 after all of that. And I am, like, honestly, after that, when I hit the wall, I thought I was done. I was definitely slower than everyone around me. but like it was still decent.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
actually looking at it live while it happened, and on our replay here, it shows that your wing actually detaches for a second, then pops right back in. The magic of netcode. So
Yeah.
luckily it didn't fall off. But yeah, we were looking at that battle in that moment, and it was a combination, right? The aero wash that you got from Burrell, plus the tires, plus being on top. So it was kind of like a perfect storm that led to that.
Yeah, at that stage, like there's no room to save it when you're in that much dirty, when you're that high up in that much dirty air. Just like I lifted just as much as I could, and just like there was nothing I could do about it. I feel bad for Julian behind me, because like he had nowhere to go either. Like I was trying to fight it, trying to get on the brakes, trying to lift, trying to just not get in his way there, and then fortunately he got in it too, and yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sticking around. Looks like the other guys have popped in the interviewing room, but we wanted to bring you up. We saw you here. At least congratulate you on the P10. Thanks for showing up, man, being part of the Saturday race. Hope to see you next week when we go to Detroit. But until then, have yourself a great week, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, you as well. And also, if you ever see me in the waiting for interview channel here in this Discord, if under yellow flag, feel free to pull me in. I do not care. That's why I was here.
Our man on the field now, it will be Matt Hollenbaugh. Well,
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. See you guys later.
See ya. All right, let's go ahead and bring up. We got Demerit, Harrington, Ham, and Akawazi in here. So we'll bring up Demerit here. If Matt Taylor doesn't show up, we'll talk about his top 5. But let's bring up Connor Harrington. Hey, Connor, you're in the booth here with Antonio and Gary. Congratulations there on the P2. Oh, so close. 0.048 was the margin of, I guess, loss for you, unfortunately. But a heck of a race for you. I mean, it's kind of not a great qual. I know you have a higher standard than that, but you just kind of stormed up through the field, and before you know it, Connor Harrington is back where he's normally found at the front of the field.
Yeah, kind of missed it on qual. I don't really know what really to do here to run, that kind of time. I think we probably theoretically could have ran a good enough time for like 3rd or 4th. I just didn't execute it very well, and I just don't think I have the setup to compete with Chris with that. He was a 10th clear of everybody. So, but yeah, it was a really fun race. It was really interesting with how the strategy played out. I think Chris and I were like maybe trying to like make like a crazy one-stop work behind Hamilton, and then I think we kind of realized a little too late into the stint that it was just no chance. The burn was just a little too high, and even then we would have still needed somebody to be the the carrot in front of the donkey there.
Sure. Were you expecting the undercut to be that strong after the first round of green flag pit stops? I mean, Akawazi put 3 seconds on you guys and then pulled away. And I think at one point you and Demerit were trying to do the old leapfrog game, but it just wasn't happening for you guys.
Yeah, it just was not driving very good during the swap draft. I was telling Chris on the radio, I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like this, it might go in there, it might stick, I might spin out, I might plow the wall. So I think the oval refresh has just made the tires just really sensitive to how you treat them. I know, like especially during that last run, there was a point where I was behind Chris that kept sliding the right rear, and I was like, man, if I keep doing this, I think I'm gonna be the yellow. So yeah, we just got kind of lucky with how it kind of filtered out and was able to kind of hold P2 there coming to the line.
Well, not the yellow, but a P2. Congratulations. I know you got some shout outs and some teammates and whatnot you'd like to say hi to, so go right ahead.
Yes, I know. It's amazing. We finally get to broadcast some IndyCar and I get to do an interview, which is great. Obviously, big thank you to everybody at Private Label Team Hype, especially Tommy Milner and Ty Stover, supporting us through, we'll call it the dark period. I guess that's what we'll call it. Or the
dark days, period. Yes. It was depressing.
So supporting us, still keeping us on and supporting us through all that. Obviously, we've done a lot of great stuff with sports car. Obviously, our partners, especially new for this season, Racing Radios, Gravity Headset, and as always, Ethica Clothing. It's been great to have them on board with us, and yeah, we're looking forward to doing some more of this as the schedule permits. But obviously, great to have broadcasted racing back for the IR18.
It's glad to have you here playing along with us, and it's good to have you here. Hopefully we'll see you next week at Detroit. Congratulations. Go enjoy it. Connor Harrington, P2, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
All right, let's bring up Hamilton into the booth. There's Hamilton. Hamilton, you're up here with Antonio and Gary. So, man, you had a heck of a start. And we actually kind of rode along with you for your start. You kind of got stuck on you didn't got stuck on the bottom. You just kind of stuck it to the bottom, drove your way around everyone who all of a sudden went high on the start on turns 1 and 2. You're in the lead. You pretty much dominate. You further dominate with a hell of an undercut pit stop. And then at the end, I guess you had to really earn it. So it was kind of a tale of two different races for you there. You kind of had this, you had strategical, you played it everything perfect in that first 4/5 of the race, but that last fifth of the race, you really, really had to keep your hammer down and just hold your position and defend and defend and defend.
Yeah, man, like at the start, I was kind of surprised they let me lead for that long. Like I thought they'd want to like get mad at me or anything, but they seemed kind of chill to just sit back and fuel save. And I mean, it went green, so it ended up working out for me really well because they weren't really I think Connor said he was trying to see if the one stop could work, but you'd have to be saving a whole lot more than that to make it work. And then like my pit ins were really good. Got a lot of luck with lap traffic for sure that helped me pull away. But yeah, it was fun. And then caution sucked, but I was able to hold on.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the calculator right now. Just the 62.5. I mean, 62.5 for you with no one to draft with. That would have been tough on a one stop for them if they stayed close to you. But you started to pull away and break the draft a little bit from them. And at that point, the one stop strategy wasn't going to work well for them. And then just you came out like a rocket after that undercut at 3 seconds. You had a 3-second lead on them. It was a pretty amazing. I mean, was the undercut something you experimented with earlier in the week that you knew was possible out there? Because I don't think anyone else took advantage of it really until maybe they saw you did it and maybe they tried it on the second stop.
I mean, it's definitely, tires are worth a lot here, so it always helps. And then also got some draft from lap cars that helped me pull me along a bit. And yeah, but I gained, what is it, 2.5 on pit entry. So I just got really good pit entry as well. So everything together just allowed me to break the draft.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, go. You got any questions for him, Antonio?
Yeah, super quick. Just I can totally imagine that you were not happy with that yellow flag flying with 15 to go. But you held them off. No deviation. Were you worried at any point? You seem pretty calm and collected from our point of view. But I would like to know or understand how are you feeling in those moments when you were having to hog the white line and just not let any space at all?
I mean, it's a whole lot of looking in the mirror for sure. Whole lot of looking in the mirror and just hoping the car like stays steady throughout the entire time. You know, felt good that it wouldn't plow, but I kept getting like a little loose middle 1 and 2. And you have to be really careful with the balance when you're holding the white line like that. So, yeah, but the car held on, tires were great. So yeah, it all worked out.
Next week we go to Detroit, whole different beast. Are you ready?
I don't own the track, but maybe I'll buy it, give it a try. We'll see.
All right. Well, he's got a week of practice ahead of him, but congratulations for Hamilton. P1 on a heck of a race. Margin of victory 0.048 over Connor Harrington. Congratulations. Go enjoy it. I know you're going to go hit that IAR Discord and get some congratulations from your teammates there. So speaking of, I know you want to shout them out, so go right ahead.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to Jesper for building the setup for sure. Jesper and Seb, they're always doing a really good job with the setup stuff. So, I mean, we have a really, really good car here for sure.
Well, there you heard it. Shout outs to the team. Congratulations. And maybe we'll see you next week. But we'll definitely see you on the broadcast again, I'm sure, in the future. Take care.
Yeah, man. See ya.
And let's bring up real quick Chris DeMeritt. He finished fifth. Hey, Chris, you're up in the booth here. Got a couple seconds. Just wanted to say hi. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Tell us about your race. You're kind of up in the top 3 all day, and then when the great sprint happened there at the end, kind of got shuffled back a little bit further than you wanted to. Is that how you saw it? Just kind of not being able to pull off the one stop, and then found yourself too far behind, really?
Yeah, I thought I would lose less time on going as long as I could on that first fuel stint. But obviously that was the wrong call because Hamilton ended up 3 seconds up the road and we got a bunch of
Yeah.
helpful lap traffic. So, yeah, at that point it was just like I don't know. There wasn't much else I could do. I was just gonna run the fuel tank out again and hope for a lucky yellow or something. But then yeah, at the end I just got I don't know where else I was supposed to go, and I just chose the bottom lane and chose wrong every time. I could have probably gone for something in turn 1, but I don't know. I didn't want to make a move I never made before and then take out 5 people. So settled in there.
That wouldn't help the old relations with everyone in the community. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but while we were watching that battle for the win, really on those last couple of laps, I mean, you were on the outside of Hamilton there, and you really didn't have any move that you could potentially make to make a pass on the outside. So you needed to try something, which going to the inside, maybe something happens, but unfortunately it didn't. And you got shuffled back a little bit. Were you surprised, and going back to the previous stint, when Hamilton goes out and he's 3 seconds in front of you guys, and you and Connor kind of tried to do a little bit of a swap draft there, but you were not catching there either. What was that about?
You lose a bit of a time whenever you enter in lower in turn 1, or at least Connor and I both were, because so we would just slide and lose all the time that we had gained, and then I guess it was basically the same. So yeah, it didn't work either, but we tried at least.
Well, congratulations, at least on the top 5. Good showing, even though I don't think the top 5 is really indicative of how you ran all day. You're up in the top 3 all day long, but congratulations nevertheless, especially when you're in a sprint race there at the end, when everyone's sticking their nose in, and you just never really quite's going to happen at the corner exit a lot of times. So surviving to a P5 despite it all is a minor victory, although I understand from your point of view it might feel a little defeating, especially being up there in the top 3. But good show. You put on a great show for us calling the race and everyone at home. That's all we can ask for. Thanks for showing up and playing along with us on this Friday Strength of Field. Hopefully we'll see you next week in Detroit.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for dragging me in here, and I'll see you guys later in the season.
You got it, man. Take care. Chris DeMeritt, P5. Okay. And I have to actually get myself on out of here because I have another race here that I got to be on broadcast for in about 30 minutes. So everyone watching home, if you want to watch more IndyCar racing, head on over to the FTN network. Just type in FTN iRacing, and that will bring their network there. And they will be covering the VOR IndyCar race from Zandvoort. So I will be there in 30 minutes. But Antonio, great week for you. Book in by a podium to start and a great finish here, close finish at Texas to end. Tell us about the race, and then tell us what you're thinking of next week, what we might see at Detroit.
Yeah. Well, first off, I think we saw a great race, even with the reduced field again. That's 2 weeks in a row, but we have had bangers no matter the size of the field, which is super cool. And then that oval refresh that Connor mentioned, that's something that I don't think we have really touched upon, but there were a lot of changes on the iRacing track modeling and how the tire degrades and how the track changes over time. And that has also been very beneficial for these cars. It allows us to do a lot more things, and pair that with the setups that, at least for the fixed series, we have been getting from Trano, and all the setups that these larger teams are building. They are creating some of the most competitive racing I've seen in the scene for a very, very long time. So I'm very psyched for that. I think the future is super bright, and hopefully we keep getting bangers week after week after week. next time by, next week, we're going to Belle Isle, which is a very tricky circuit with not a very many passing opportunities. It's very tight, as the street circuits typically are. But we have seen some really, really good racing in Long Beach, for example, in the past, and some of the other, older races that we did 3 years ago now. But very, very, very excited to see Indy cars back at an IndyCar track. Although, they're not going to be racing at that particular track this time by. Thing that happened with Texas, actually funny that we're getting back to some real Indy tracks, but they're no longer going to be racing there. But alas, it should be a lot of fun, and we hope that you join us for that.
Yeah, we know a lot of the drivers in the community have many laps there over the course of owning it here on iRacing. Well, hey man, thanks for joining us. I'm so happy you had a great week with the podium and everything. So next week is Dover and the Indy Fixed. Maybe we'll see another one there.
I hope.
Whenever you mention Dover, everyone's like, "Ugh."
I'm so scared of Dover, man. But yeah, we're gonna try and do that. I mean, a lot of it is track position. You can make moves if you're in the back of the pack. If you're in the lead, it's very, very difficult to get around. But we're gonna try. Maybe we get a streak going here.
All right, so that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Texas Motor Speedway is Hamilton Hackaway with the win, Connor Harrington in P2, Matt Taylor in P3. Join Antonio and myself again next week for round 9 of the Saturday IndyCar Open Series Top Split of Season 1 of 2024 as the series moves to Motown and the Old Belle Isle Grand Prix course. Coverage this season begins 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1 p.m. Eastern as always, and you can find everything right here at youtube.com/RaceVerse. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy, require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you many races of the IndyCar Open Series nearly commercial free. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Saturday IndyCar Open Series Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution you make will be greatly appreciated, and we thank you for watching. Make us part of your Tuesday evenings, Saturday afternoons, each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support RaceVerse with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, smash like in the video. It's the best way you can help support us. If you're not already, subscribe, and if you do that. Do subscribe. While you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more RaceVerse other iRacing programming, including IndyCar racing from Dover, as we mentioned, for the Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series. And starting tomorrow, it will be DW12 Sundays here on RaceVerse. Hopefully, if everything goes well. First, starting with the VOR IndyCar Dallara DW12 Series, starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, right here in Texas. And on February 18th, we'll have double DW12 races on Sunday, where we'll be doing round 1 of Season 7 of the Dark Horse DW12 IndyCar Series from Fontana. Hey, and last but not least, the Formula Indy Series. Yes, the FIS returns to RaceVerse in March. So much IndyCar racing, so little time. So keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceVerse, we know what Indy means. RaceVerse's Saturday IndyCar Open Top Split naming rights are paid for by 4D RACEWEAR. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4DRacewear.com or click on the link in the description. For business inquiries, learn more about what we do at RaceVerse, visit raceverse.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter right now. We'll flash those at the bottom of the screen here. If I can find them. There they are, right there. There's all of our Twitter handles right there at the bottom of your screen. So for Antonio and Strada, everyone at RaceVerse, I'm Gary Gonzo saying all good night and good afternoon. Thanks for watching and welcome back. We miss you all if this is your first time back with us. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again next week right here in Detroit for the next race of the 4D RACEWEAR Saturday IndyCar Open Series Top Split. Good night.